Hey everybody, what's going on? Your host, LovelyCheesePizza here. Welcome back to Let's Play some more Gran Turismo 3, the Ultimate Driving Simulator, where we've got 15 laps here. I've got a little bit of time before I gotta head off to work, and so I figure, you know what? Let's finish off this challenge here, and hopefully it goes over well. I would imagine that it probably will, considering the fact that we're so much faster than everybody. And I got a quick little oil change in the car before we started everything off, so I think we're probably going to be in pretty good hands here. This TV is a little bit loud. I should probably turn it down just a little bit. There we go. My bad. I was playing Resident Evil 2 last night, and I decided to turn the volume up a little bit because a lot of the in-game audio seems to be kind of quiet sometimes, but for this one, not the case whatsoever. So I think I need to turn it down a little bit, that way I can hear myself think. Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to be alright. I mean, this really... And it's nice having a car that can actually handle these corners. I mean, think about the last time we were doing this race. We were using a car that had exponentially higher amounts of horsepower, but it was also a lot harder to control. So... And these sections right here are going to be where we're going to be able to pull away from the competition. So I think we're gonna probably be alright. All in all, as long as we don't have people that are trying to ram us in the butt, trying to get us to spin out and shit. So, hopefully, it'll all be a nice and smooth experience for everyone to enjoy. I really need to get a haircut. I was sitting here trying to deal with this shit this morning, and my hair is just like standing up in all these different fucking directions, and it drives me crazy. I'm the kind of person that, you know, when I'm like trying to style my hair, like I like it. I don't need it like every single fucking stray hair to be, you know, in order, but I hate having like one little patch of hair where it's just like jetting out the wrong way. And that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. That's also the downside of having cowlicks in the front of your fucking head, which is really stupid, but I'll deal with it. I gotta wait until I get paid before I can go and handle that. But yeah, dude, since I filmed the last one of these, there's been some things that went on, and one of them was actually super, super fucked up. It was actually one of the more, like, I don't know really what the right term for it. Like, I'd say sobering, but it's not like I'm, you know, I wasn't like under the influence of anything, but I think it was just like the moment in and of itself was something where it like makes you kind of stop and think about stuff for a minute. So, on Sunday, a couple days ago, Michaela and Harrison and I went to the beach. You know, it was the day off, the kids were with their dads. So we're like, you know what, we'll go over to the beach and we'll enjoy it over there. I mean, it's supposed to be really nice out that way, and so let's just go and enjoy it. And so we went down there, and, you know, we were just kind of driving around. We went to a few shops and things, just kind of looking around at stuff, just being people. And we were going to go to Newport, probably to go grab something to eat and, you know, go out on the beach, because the couple areas that we wanted to go to were already so packed to the damn gills that there wasn't really any room, which is crazy to think about for a beach having no fucking room, considering how sprawling in length they are. But I mean, it was way too much. I'm not trying to have somebody, you know, have a bunch of people playing like frisbee and, you know, throwing footballs around and stuff while my kid's trying to play in the sand and have them totally get punted by a couple of drunk-ass college kids that aren't paying attention. Because that kind of thing could totally happen. We decided that we were going to go drive over to Newport and see what's going on over there. And we're only just like a few miles away, and we're going over this bridge, and all of a sudden we notice that traffic just comes to a total dead halt. I'm like, I wonder what's going on up here. And you can see that there's like a bunch of people like walking around out there. I'm just like, what the hell's going on with all this? Like, this is weird. And I'm looking, I'm like, I wonder if there was like a car accident up there, maybe. Like, that would be the only thing that I could think of that would have stuff, or maybe there's like something blocking the road or something. And so we're sitting there, and we still see people running around everywhere, and just the traffic isn't moving, but there's cars that are going the opposite direction, and everybody like keeps looking, they keep like shifting their focus, looking, you know, back towards where, you know, everything is. And we eventually, after sitting there for about 10 minutes, there was a couple of cars that were going by with their windows down that were telling everybody, you know, that was stuck in traffic what was going on. And as the lady goes by, she's like, in case you're wondering, there's a really big accident up here, and it's fatal. People died. And we're like, oh shit. And so with that, I was like, I kind of want to go check it out, because the guy that was in the car in front of me totally abandoned his car, and he got out and started, you know, walking towards what was going on so he could get a better look at it. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go follow him. I want, like, not that I want to see a dead body or anything. Hey guys, you want to come see a dead body? No, not at all. Like, but I was curious to see, like, if the wreck is that bad, like, what the fuck happened? Like, it's got to be some pretty serious shit. And so I hop out of the car and I go walk down towards where the wreck was, and it was fucking terrible. Like, it was mortifying to look at. And apparently what had happened was 2 people died on scene, and then 5 more people were injured, all in all. But what had happened was that this black pickup truck was driving pretty damn fast, because the speed limit in this area is 55. So natural law of traffic is that if the speed limit's 55, pretty much everybody's going about 65. And so this black truck was going, you know, whatever speed it was going, but somehow, I still can't wrap my head around this, for some reason, in oncoming traffic, there was this red Pontiac Firebird that assumedly had probably a full boat's worth of people in it. If there were 7 total sets of injuries / deaths involved, it had to be a full car. But they were... Okay, so the truck is going this way, and the oncoming traffic comes this way, but this red car that it collided with was like... It was like where this truck is, it was like this. Like, it was facing head on, but it was like diagonally facing in a way that doesn't make any sense for a car to have been coming that way for any reason. I can't figure it out. Like, it's wild, but the black truck just absolutely T-boned the living shit out of this car, to the point where the entire front end, like, I couldn't even tell what kind of car it was until we finally were able to drive around it. Because that entire side literally, like, fucking disintegrated, and it was insane. And so I was just like staring at the car like, holy shit. Like, the people that were in the black truck more than likely survived, because it's a truck. It's got a little bit better, you know, impact zone to work with, and it didn't really cave in. Like, the truck was totaled. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, it wasn't totaled like the red one was, and I didn't even notice it at the time, really. But I mean, they had some ambulances and police cars and stuff that were tending to some of the injured people. And so I walked back to the car, and we were just kind of sitting there. We're like, well, I mean, we can't really turn around, because even if we turn around, it's going to take even more time to get back to where, you know, we were and start heading home than it would be if we just wait for whatever this is to go forward, so that we can work with that. And so we just kind of sat there, and we watched just constantly for the next probably 35 or 40 minutes. We were just watching police cars and like fire trucks and ambulances just barreling in from both directions, to the point where in total they probably had like 20 emergency vehicles. It was easily the most first responders I've ever seen on location for a single incident before. That wasn't like an active shooter situation or something. Like, this was just a 2-car accident, and they had that many people, you know, on hand trying to sort it all out. Like, it was fucking crazy. And it didn't occur to me until we eventually drove by that they threw a tarp over the red car, which they only really do that sort of thing when there's people that are trapped inside the car that are dead. You know, mean, that's usually the instance in which they would put a tarp over the car, is if there's fatalities inside. And I'm sitting here thinking, when we drove by, I was like, shit, there were people that were dead inside the car, and I was like 35 feet away from that thing. How did I not see that? And like that's another testament to just how horrendously bad the damage to that car was, that I was 30 feet away from it and I couldn't even see the people inside. Like, that's how awful it was. It was, oh god, like it was making my stomach churn, and it just like, my heart just like exploded. Like, I felt so horribly sad for everybody involved, because like the people that lived through that, like all the injured people that survived that thing, they're never gonna be emotionally okay ever again after going through that whole thing. And the driver of the car, knowing that whatever happened, like, it doesn't even matter if it's their fault or not, just knowing that you were the driver of a car and you hit somebody head on, or they hit you head on or whatever, and two of the however many people were in that car are fucking dead now. Like, you are, there is no coming back from that. I mean, that is a full-blown catastrophic nightmare. And oh dude, it was terrible. It was just gut-wrenching to think about. But after that, like, our day was just ruined after that. I mean, it just, all the joy and excitement that we had built up for the day was just, it was completely dashed in all of about a few minutes. Once we kind of finally figured out the severity of what was going on, I mean, it was, the day was done. And then we, you know, topped the day off by watching 3 episodes of Chernobyl. Which, dude, that show, I said it in an episode of Resident Evil 2 just recently, that show is fucking amazing. Like, I'd been hearing all these reports and reviews saying, oh, this show's getting, you know, reviews that are like Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones caliber, and I was like, I don't know about that. I mean, I'll give it a go. I was like, how could you give a 5-episode show, you know, ratings like that? Like, it's like, I'm sure it's good, but I don't know if it's that good. And I'll tell you what, if you have not seen that yet, you need to see it. Like, it is well worth the time. It's fucking awesome. Like, it really sheds some serious light on the Chernobyl disaster, and just how incompetent and fucked up the people, like the officials that were in charge of handling that, and just like how insane the Soviet Union was in the way that they handled that, and just the level of denial and just like misinformation and like misdirection tactics and stuff that they used to try to make it seem like, you know, nothing was going on, and or like for what was going on, that it wasn't really that bad, until it finally got like fully exposed for what it was. Dude, it's so fucking cool. It is an absolutely fantastic set of 5 episodes to view. It's well worth the time, I am telling you. Go for it. There's definitely some imagery in there that is not like comfortable to look at. Like, there's a couple of times where you see like people that have the radiation poisoning, that the way they show them is about as accurate as you could really get it. Like, I mean, they're, you know, when you got radiation poisoning from being in that area, it was so bad that it would make your insides basically boil and melt, and then it would basically boil from the inside out, and then it would kill you. And there's one scene, it doesn't really ruin any of the show, but there's one scene where you see one of the patients in a hospital bed, and you kind of see the progression of how the radiation just keeps affecting his body, and it goes from it looking like he had standard burns, like some chemical burns, to literally his entire body was just covered in it, and like his face literally melted off. It was unbelievable. It's super gross, but it is what it is. So, oh, you know what? Okay, this is funny. So, I was on my way home. I was at a stoplight. They were doing some construction, and so I had a minute to kind of sit there and chill for a second. I decided to browse through Reddit real quick, and the first thing that I saw was on the Not the Onion subreddit. And the article, I mean, it's kind of like in the vein of like Huffington Post weird news. It's like stuff that it seems like it would be fake, but it totally isn't. And this article was a customer called the police after Taco Bell ran out of taco shells. Which, I mean, it's just stupid. Like, why would anybody ever? That's like, I mean, that'd be like somebody calling the police because KFC ran out of chicken. You know what I mean? Like, that's such a trivial ass reason to call the cops, and like, they're not gonna fucking do anything. Like, what are they supposed to do? You know, are they supposed to just like walk in there guns a-blazing? You guys are hiding an illegal hoard of taco shells and you're refusing to help customers. We're gonna take you into the fucking slammer. Like, that's not how that works. You guys don't have an adequate amount of resources to help your customers. We're gonna shut you down, you know? It's like, it's not how that's gonna work. But I could totally imagine how that conversation would go, and it more than likely probably would have taken place from somebody that was drunk, which would have possibly totally incriminated them to the fact that this person was drunk. 911, what's your emergency? Excuse me, Oscar. I am calling to... I need you guys to come and arrest the people at Taco Bell on 234th in Main Street. Because I went in there to get my soft and hard shell tacos in because I'm really hungry and I've had a whole bunch of black opals and like maybe more than three, probably more than three. AMFs and things. Dude, AMFs are good. Let's just be honest with ourselves. But I had a few, and I just wanted to have some tacos, and they didn't have any taco shells. And to me, they're lying. I think that they've got a bunch of them, and they're just trying to be a bunch of fucking assholes. Oh man, it's really hard to do this right now. And so you guys need to come deal with them because it's just not cool, man. Get down here as soon as possible. Like, sir, have you been drinking? I mean, have you? And it's like they probably had like a policeman that was like off duty somewhere, like on his break. They're like, hey, so you know that Taco Bell that's about 4 blocks away from you? Oh yeah. You should probably go over there, because I just had someone that was super fucking wasted call in that wanted everybody that works in there arrested because they ran out of taco shells, but I think you need to arrest that person, because something tells me they probably are going to get like a very severe DUI. But yeah, I mean, that seems like the kind of phone call that would only take place for somebody that was drunk. But then again, maybe not. I mean, you see a lot of those weird-ass viral videos of people that go into fast food restaurants and they lose their fucking shit because, you know, I ordered my double cheeseburger without ketchup and you put ketchup on it anyways, and now you've completely ruined the fabric of my own sanity, and I'm gonna hop over this counter and throw like a Roy Jones Jr. haymaker at your face and totally miss, and then my face is gonna land in the fryer. And then I'm gonna have like a crazed Harvey Dent situation going on with my skin. So who knows? But I just thought it was funny. And like the person that responded to the call was like, well, I mean, there's literally nothing that we can do. So it's like, sorry, but you know, they're like, I'm sure they'll probably, you know, get it sorted out, but I mean, there's nothing we can do, so sorry. and then they hung up, you know, paraphrasing, of course, but yeah, it's super funny, though. I always find stories like that funny, because, I mean, I've definitely had that happen to me before. Like, I've definitely gone to, I went to Popeyes once, and they had run out of chicken. And I was like, well, shit, that sucks. It's like, but because of the fact that happened, I didn't like throw a shit fit and leave. I was just like, okay, well, what do you guys actually have? Like, you know, what can I get that doesn't have chicken? So I ended up getting like one of their jambalaya bowls. And they're like, well, the jambalaya bowls have chicken in it. I was like, well, then just don't put chicken in it. Well, I'll totally take the damn thing without the chicken in it. Like, I don't need there to be any of that in there. They're still good without it. And so, I was like, but, you know, because I came here looking for chicken and you guys don't have any, like, can we, like, cut a deal here? Just for inconvenience sake? And she's like, well, because, I mean, they were getting ready to close. I mean, they were closing in, like, 15 minutes. She's like, well, I mean, you know, we've had a bunch of other people leave because we didn't have anything. I was like, well, I mean, do you have, like, anything that you have a bunch of that, you know, at the end of your shift you just end up throwing it away or whatever? Like, like you have, like, some extra biscuits or anything like that, or, like, rolls or anything like that? She's like, well, I do have a whole shitload of those. She's like, do you want to, like, is it cool if I just give you a bunch of extra biscuits? I was like, yes, absolutely. Like, that I'll totally call bygones bygones with that. we can let them, we can hash that out if you give me some extra biscuits. I'll totally be cool with that. She's like, okay. Well, then pull around, and she's like, I'll even cut the price of your meal in half because, you know, because of the inconvenience. I was like, fucking awesome. See, like, this is how you do it. You have to negotiate with them. Like, don't go, you know, go fucking, you know, super ham on them and leave. Like, see if you can work out a deal with them. Because I ended up getting my food. They even gave me like a free thing of mac and cheese to go with it, and they gave me this extra box. I was like, what's in this box? She's like, yeah, you'll see. And I opened it up, and there were fucking 24 biscuits in there for free. I was like, this is the tightest thing in the world. Because I will say one thing right now, Popeyes biscuits are absolute gold. I mean, it puts KFC's to shame. Like, they're flaky and they're buttery and they just taste better in general. Probably because there's not a bunch of sweaty ass people in, like, the Sigma warehouses that are packing them up on the trucks to go take them to KFC that are, you know, getting beads of sweat in there while they're loading it up. But still, but yeah, dude, that's just that whole thing. I thought it was funny. Other people may not think it was funny, but I totally did. And then I got one more little mini thing. This is another thing that I thought was funny. People that sleepwalk, I always thought it was funny that they can go and do, like, any number of things, and just when they wake up, they have no idea that any of that stuff was even going on, which just it really interests me because Preston, my 8-year-old, he sleepwalks. He's been doing it for years. And a lot of the time, like, it's either he'll sleepwalk or he'll have night terrors, which the night terrors is a lot harder to deal with, but the sleepwalking ones are usually funny because he'll just, like, come walking into the room and he'll just start saying random things that don't make any sense at all. Or there was a time where I walked out into the living room and I saw that he was up and he was literally just, like, walking around in circles. And I was like, what the hell is he doing? And I'm like, Press, what are you doing, bud? And he's just like, I don't know. And he was just like, but he was just walking around in circles in the middle of the room while everybody else was asleep, which at first glance totally kind of freaked me out. Just like, what the fuck is this? But then I realized, like, he's probably sleepwalking, and so I just kind of, like, guided him back to bed. But the other night, it was like 12:30 or 1 in the morning, and I was like, man, I really got to go to the bathroom. And I was like, well, there's nobody awake out here, so I'll just go pop out here real quick. And so I walk out the door, and I'm going down the hallway, and all of a sudden, here comes Preston walking into the bathroom. And I was like, shit, all right, he's got to go, so I'll let him go first. And so he goes, and he goes to the bathroom, and he flushes the toilet, and he just starts walking out of the room. I was like, hey, Press, you need to wash your hands first, bud. You gotta wash your hands after you use the bathroom. And he's like, oh yeah, okay. And so he walks over to the sink, and he gets his hands wet, and then instead of going for the soap, he reaches into the drawer and grabs the toothpaste and just squirts this big glob of toothpaste into his hands. I'm like, Preston, what are you doing? He's like, I'm using the soap. And I was like, Preston, that's not soap, that's toothpaste. He's like, no, it's soap. I was like, Press, that's not soap. The soap is right there. You just put a bunch of toothpaste in your hands. He's like, no, I didn't. And I was like, look down into your hands. He's like, oh, okay, my bad. And so he washes it off, and I was like, use the soap. And he's just like looking at me like, what the hell's going on? And at this point, like, I already know that he's he's half, I was like, you're half asleep, aren't you? He's like, no, I'm not. I was like, Preston, you just put a giant glob of toothpaste in your hands thinking that it was soap. Use the regular soap. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, use the soap, Preston. And so he finally, you know, gets a bunch of soap in his hands. And then he reaches over for his toothbrush, and he starts, like, working the soap into his hands using his toothbrush. I was like, what are you doing, Preston? He's like, well, I'm rubbing the soap in. That's how you're supposed to do it. I was like, not with your freaking toothbrush, you aren't. I was like, wash your damn toothbrush off and use your hands. Like, you're supposed to rub that in with your freaking hands. With a freaking toothbrush. That was the first time I've ever seen him ever do anything like that. That was really funny. That was definitely one of the more bizarre happenings I've seen him do with that. And then after he was done, he just went straight to bed. And the next morning, I was like, so, like, how are your hands? They smell like toothpaste? He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, you were sleepwalking last night. He's like, no, I wasn't. I was like, yeah, you were. Because I woke up to go to the bathroom at the same time that you did. And when I had you wash your hands after you used the bathroom, you totally thought that toothpaste was soap. And then after I made you use the real soap, you used your toothbrush to wash your hands with. And it's like, what are you talking? I was like, did I really? I was like, yeah. And then everybody got a good laugh out of it. Haley was fucking dying. Like, I thought she had like fucking like morphed into a hyena or something, because she was like going full witch cackle at that point. It was hilarious. But man, that makes me really, really glad that I do not sleepwalk. I've only is it sleepwalked or sleptwalked? Sleepwalk? Sleepwalk. I've only done that once in my life, and it was fucking scary. And I'm really glad that I've never done it since then. Hiya! We are the winner! Alright, well, we won that by a lot. It wasn't even close. And now this challenge is done, so that makes things even better. But yeah, dude, do you guys have any, I feel like I've probably asked this before, but it's probably been a while. You guys have any stories? Do you know anybody that sleepwalks? Or have you, like, seen people do it? And, like, do you have any stories about stuff that they did? Because I think that, like, sleepwalking stories are potentially really funny. Ooh, look at that. Look at that shiny coat of paint, too. That's fucking cool. That is a nice-ass car. I don't know how I feel about that weird contraption behind the driver's seat, though. Like, I know it's there for safety purposes, but God, it looks stupid. I don't like that at all. I'm gonna have to leave to go to work here in just a few minutes. But I gotta go get my lunch ready, because I gotta do that. Because I can't bank on the fact that one of the dudes from work is going to go out to Little Caesars and buy like 4 pizzas again, even though he does do that at times. So what kind of car was that? Oh, it's the Cobra! Cobra Commander. Damn, dude, that thing is super cool. That has James Bond written all over it. It really does. Okay, so we're going to save the game right here. When we come back next time and let's play some more Gran Turismo 3, the Ultimate Driving Simulator, we are going to move into the next challenge. And it's going to be awesome, and we'll have more stuff to talk about. But for now, I need to go get ready for work, because I don't want to be late, like I was yesterday. So with that said, my friends, this is your host, LovelyCheesePizza, saying thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.